Okay, I think enough time has passed. It's time for us to discuss Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse because I saw it a few days ago and I decided to sit on it, let my mind really digest it, you know what I mean, and then make a video talking about it. So here is where I'm doing that. And I just have to say, as you saw from the title of the video, more than likely, I enjoyed Spider Man Across the Spider Verse, but when you look at it as a standalone film, it is objectively worse than Into the Spider Verse. I will not be accepting any questions. So, what I mean by that when I say when you look at it as a standalone film, it's worse than the first movie is that it doesn't resolve really anything by the end of the movie. It has set up a lot of problems, but it hasn't solved any of them. Now, of course, if you haven't seen the movie, this is going to come with a lot of spoilers. So make sure that you have seen the movie if you don't want to be spoiled on what actually happens. But having said that, now I want to start out by reiterating that I did enjoy the movie. I did think that visually it is absolutely stunning. As we all expected it to be, it definitely delivered on that front. The characterizations were awesome. I really enjoyed the scene with Miles and his mom. I know for me, that part definitely had a lot of resonance because, I'm actually very close with my mom as well. So scenes like that, it really rang true to me, to real life. And that's one of the things that I really did enjoy about this movie. A lot of the characterizations were awesome. Some of them, though, I didn't really enjoy. And yes, I am talking about Miguel O'Hara because I am a huge Spider-Man 2099 fan, right? And I can see where they're going for something, some sort of arc where it's going, where like they're making him seem like a bad guy now, but then in the end he's going to end up coming around or something. I would hope at least. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I didn't really enjoy was just him kind of basically being a villain. And in such a weird way, too, with the whole canon event thing, because I mean, they did show Miles being there when his uncle died, and he was also there when, the Spider-Man of his universe died too. So he did have the inspiration for him becoming Spider-Man, like that did exist in his universe. So I don't know why exactly this is, and especially not because like he's not Peter Parker, because there are a lot of people, like everybody who's on this team is not Peter Parker. So, except for the fact that they did have, the Peter Parker with Mayday, I did enjoy seeing him again, although I would have enjoyed seeing him more if they had already showed him, because, like, he has his kid now, right? So, I would have loved to see some growth in him instead of seeing him again with the bathrobe and everything. Like, show us where now he actually has that motivation to be somebody again, because he has, a daughter, he has the woman he loves, he has those things again, and that actually inspires him to be better. Instead, we're kind of seeing him still be the same person, but now he has the things that he wanted. So it just kind of makes you wonder, okay, so what's his deal? Why is he still like that then if he has the things that he wants? Again, I'm assuming there's probably going to be some sort of growth, or at the very least, I hope, by the next movie, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. All of this was kind of just set up for us to get to the end. There was no resolution. Like, the movie literally ends with a to be continued. There have been a lot of movies that, because one thing I know that people have been throwing out there, that it's the second movie or that it's, part one. I understand that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it being a multi-part thing, but each movie should be able to be standalone in some regard. You know what I mean? You can still leave the door open for something, but by the end of, let's go ahead and get to what I'm talking about specifically. And again, if you haven't seen it, spoilers. But by the end of it, when Miles is captured by other Miles and he's kind of hanging there, they are setting up the thing they had from Into the Spider-Verse with Spider-Man saying, you have to watch the hands, not the mouth. They're setting up that in the next movie, but it would have been really great had they ended with that. Show us that part where he gets away and then he momentarily escapes from Miles, and we see where the other Miles is going looking for him, and then that's when you can pick up the next movie. At least show us that he's gotten away, so we know that something's going to happen, instead of showing us like, oh well, yeah, he's obviously going to get away. If you want to have that actual tension, instead it was all of this build up in that moment for no payoff. And that's what I'm talking about. Same thing, with the whole Spot situation, the whole Miguel situation. Like, he's on the hunt for him as well. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's looking for Miles, and it kind of felt like the end of a Netflix show episode, like an extra long episode or something like that. And that was it. So that's where I had that issue with it. It didn't feel like, if I were to watch it by itself, that I wouldn't feel compelled to then watch the third movie too. Which I guess in some regards might be better, but not everybody has that kind of time. Sometimes you just want to watch a movie. And that definitely, you probably would never be able to watch that movie by itself and just, have that be the movie that you watched just for fun. I don't really see that being anything. It's definitely a type of thing where you would watch that movie and then watch the second movie too. So I don't know. That's my biggest complaint against it. Like I said, I like the characterizations. I loved the visuals of it. Obviously, everything was stunning. It's just from a story point, I guess that's where I have the bigger issue with it. It just felt like they were hinging too much on the fact that, well, this is part one. Yeah, but you got to give people at least a little bit of a payoff. That's why I'm saying the thing with showing, our universe is miles, or the miles of the actual movie, getting away from the evil version of himself. Which honestly, if I'm going to be 100% about it, I'm kind of over the whole like evil twin thing. As soon as I saw that one coming, I was like, oh no. Please don't do that. Please don't do evil version Miles. We don't need that in this movie now. But that's exactly what happened. So, well, guess we'll just see what ends up happening with it. It's part of the movie, so regardless, it's going to be dealt with. But that was one of the things that I was like, oh god. On top of the whole multiverse thing, now we have to also throw in the like evil twin type of doppelganger thing. Okay, fine. But again, like I said, it just felt like everything was setting up and then telling you, okay, come back next time to see how it all works out. I'm fine with having to come back and see how some of the things work out, but you gotta show me at least one thing. I mean, I think the closest thing they had to anything being resolved, maybe, was Gwen finally having some amount of catharsis with her dad. I think that was probably like the closest we had. Even that, again, like her dad isn't a villain. That's just a personal issue. Like everything else that was set up was with villains, like with some external force. But with Gwen, it was just like her problem with her dad, which I mean, I would hope that if he's a good enough dad, eventually they were going to be able to work things out. That's what you would hope for at the very least. But yeah, that was a very small type of thing that I guess if you want to count that as some sort of resolution to a problem, it wasn't really anybody else's problem except for Gwen's. That's why I'm saying like the other problems kind of seem to be a little bit bigger. But like I said, overall, just it didn't hit on every cylinder that I would have liked to see it. Was it still an enjoyable movie? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I had my little gripes against it. I would have liked to see better handling for Miguel. I don't really see why he had to be chosen to be the whole villain, especially because like all of a sudden this is the other problem that we're seeing with having this many spider people, where all of a sudden we have this problem, right, that's involving spider people in the multiverse of spider people, and who's the one handling it? Not a single person on the team is a Peter Parker at all. Not a single one of them. Like the whole spider thing is being handled by somebody who's not the original character. I don't know. To me, that seems weird, considering that there are still so many versions of the original character, but for some reason, it's not Peter Parker that's actually dealing with any of the spider things. I don't know. To me, that feels weird. That could possibly just be me. I don't know. But I think I've rambled on about this long enough. Like I said, did I enjoy the movie? Yeah, I thought it was great. Visually stunning, all of that. Would have liked more from the story aspect of it. But we'll see what happens with the next movie whenever that one comes out. I forget when that one's supposed to come out. But anyway, let me know what you thought about the movie. If you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to know your thoughts. If you're done here, I guess go and read a book or go watch the movie if you haven't watched it yet. And if not, then I'll see you on my next video.